What is your opinion about Penny Hardaway at Memphis?
I love the guy as a human being. I love him. And man, he was fun to watch as a player, like one of the best. Okay. But I'm going to take all that out of the equation. I'm not going to get emotional, and I'm not going to use what he did to put himself in that program. I'm not going to Patrick Ewing this. I'm not going to Chris Mullen this. I'm going to take all the emotion out right now. All right. And I'm going to give you some numbers. All right. And here's what I'm going to tell you is Penny Hardaway has gone to one tournament in his first 4 years. That's 25% of the time. Okay. He wasn't going the year that they canceled the tournament. He wasn't going to go. I don't think he was going to go.
No, he wasn't. He went on track.
Right. So you're talking 25%. This year, they may or may not go. Right now, bracket matrix, they're an 11.
They're going.
You got to cut that.
Lot.
You got to cut that.
Oh my God, they are
going.
not a
They're
lot.
going. They are in every bracket that is out there. They are going.
Okay,
except your own.
All right, let's say they're going.
That's 2 out of 5.
Traditionally, by the way, they've been to 3 Final Fours. They've been to 11 Sweet 16s in the illustrious history of Memphis Tiger basketball. Dana Kirk was really good, as we remember. That was before you were born, John, but RC and I remember
history. I know all
Keith
about
Lee
that.
days. Yes. Larry Finch was pretty darn good.
Yep.
He went to an Elite Eight. John Calipari, we know what he did, right? We know what he did. Title game, couple Elite Eights. And oh, by the way, Josh Pastner, who was rightfully fired, who was mediocre, went to 4 tournaments in 7 years. Can anybody do the percentages of that? 4 out of 7 compared to 1 out of 4?
John,
it's going to be 2 out of 5.
I mean, so we don't know that yet. We're not counting chickens before they hatch.
Yes.
We are not.
They're going. They would have to completely just fall out on their face. They're not going to do that. They're scared when Kendrick Davis went down and he came back. I thought it was. But like you said, I think we can't pick and choose who gets COVID. I mean, we always say, oh, they went through COVID and this kind of changes their program. I think from going through NCAA, sanctions are hovering over the program is something you got to think about. He survived it. And I think the other thing is just even from the job, I think it's with so many teams, with Cincy, UCF, everybody's leaving, going to the Big 12 next year. I don't know if the job, if the expectations outside of Memphis is what everyone thinks it should be. It isn't the same as we thought it was before because of those things. Like now it's going to be what? They're sitting in this league and it's just going to be them and who?
Nobody. It's back to CUSA. That's it's worse. It's the second iteration of CUSA where it sucked. That's what I'm saying. I heard you say it earlier in the year, RC, and you were like, well, look, they're winning 20 games every year.
They are.
Yeah. Well, they're playing ECU in Tulsa in USF. Come on. I mean, this league stinks.
Okay, can I make the case?
Go ahead.
They beat 4 SEC teams this year.
Yes.
They beat 4.
Who are they?
They were 3. They beat Vandy, which looks better. That was at Vandy. They beat A&M. They beat Ole Miss, who I know is bad.
Yeah.
I'm missing one. But they got 4, and they lost to Alabama by 3. Who could Memphis have hired in 2018 that would have done what Penny is doing?
I'm not saying to fire Penny Hardaway. I'm not saying to fire Penny Hardaway, guys.
I get it. The right guy. You're
getting it wrong.
All right. And the answer is there was no other guy who could have come in here, restored attendance from nothing after Tubby ruined the program, who recruited 3 top 5 recruiting classes in his first 5 seasons, who landed the number 1 player for the first time in program history. And oh, by the way, is going to make the tournament this year and is bringing in another top 5 class, beat the charges, as Randolph mentioned.
Yeah.
There's nobody else who could have come in here and accomplished what Penny has accomplished. The problem is your expectations are out of whack because you are.
They're not out of whack.
But Jeff, I think you can take that same. I think we can take that same expectation you have that you're saying for Penny.
Yeah.
And I think if we can look at coaches that have been hired in the last 3 or 4 years, and I don't think they meet that standard.
Like
Man,
who?
I'm just thinking of in general. Just thinking of if we start going off and holding them to that standard of saying if they say, hey, 20 wins, like I mean, who's coming in last? If we're gonna
at a good program that should be running the league with Houston. Do we agree with that?
But they are. They're second in the league. They can't. Houston's number one.
They were here. No. Here's what they've been. Fifth, third, and then this year they're third again. They're behind Tulane, are they not?
No, they're in front of Tulane.
No, they're
in front of Tulane now.
They're ahead of Tulane, yeah.
But didn't they lose to Tulane twice?
I'm not going to sit here and act like Penny is above reproach. I think there have been years where he made critical roster errors and misjudgments, right? I think there have been staffing missteps. Like, I'm not going to sit here and act like I've been critical of Penny. I'm not afraid to do that.
He's grown on the job.
But we're also talking about a guy who was coaching at East High School 5 years ago, had never worked a day in college basketball, and he's going to make 2 tournaments in 5 years. The first year was totally Tubby Smith players.
I don't know how you guys are like locking him in for the tournament when they're an 11 seed on every bracket.
I will buy you every drink. I'll play this.
There you go. Jump out there, John.
Every drink, every meal, every whatever else it is you're doing. Okay. If they miss the tournament.
Now that's a bet right there. I'm
going to get back to it. Here's what I'm going to get back to ultimately. If you're a Memphis fan, are you content with just slipping into the NCAA tournament 40% of the time? Just barely getting in, and honestly on Selection Sunday, wondering, are you definitely in or not?
The only person that's wondering is you. That's it.
The last 2 years, Jeff, I don't think it's been that close.
All right, last year they were 8-9 games. So I'll give you that.
I mean,
right now they're in 11. They're in 11.
Yeah, the start of that season was disappointing. But they ultimately won a game, and they were up 10 against Gonzaga at the half. Right?
No. Listen.
So has it been disappointing from a big picture standpoint compared to what maybe people thought it could be because we let our imaginations go crazy? Sure, but I think when you sort of take it year by year, it's fine. Like, he's doing a pretty good job.
Hey, Jeff, it's like how I always address the Texas job when I'm like, give it to Rodney Terry, because everybody's like, oh, they're gonna get Cal, they're gonna get who? I'm like, Texas, who do you want? Your last 2 coaches are top 10 in the country.
Yeah,
Barnes and Shaka, you ran them off, and they're top 10 in the country. Like, who the hell do you want? Like, you're Texas basketball.
We got to pull Jeff out of 2008. Right, he's still in San Antonio when Memphis lost to Kansas.
Man, I miss those days.
You got to join. But that was an outlier. That was 1 4-year span in a 111-year history, and it's not fair for any coach, whether it's Penny or Josh or whoever, to be held to something that will never come again in college basketball. Be it at Memphis, be it at Bama, you name it. There ain't going to be another program that wins 30 games 4 straight years.
I'll get back to it. I'm not saying they should do anything with Penny. I love Penny. I just want them to be more relevant than they are, which is
relevant.
No, they're not that relevant.
Jeff, I think the changes of everything around them, the changes of everything that's going on around them that's out of Penny's control with the realignments and everything else, I think they're being stuck at the table without a seat.
Well, they will be.
It will be. And it will be. And I think it hurts the program.
They're not there yet.
I think it hurts the program. And that's not Penny's fault. But I think
of course not.
It's not his fault, but I think that's what's going to happen, and it hurts them because they're going to be left without a chair at the table.